Before we explore the music, let's begin with a quick refresher on the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two that come before it. The most familiar version is shown here. The series is generated as follows. If we add the first two numbers together, known as the seed values, 0 and 1, we get the next number in the series, 1. Then 1 plus 1 gives us 2, 1 plus 2 gives us 3, 2 plus 3 gives us 5, and so on. This presentation focuses on the first movement of Caelestis, composed by Andrew Staniland. Staniland is one of Canada's leading composers, acclaimed for his innovative work at the intersection of acoustic and electronic music. He is a professor of composition at Memorial University in Newfoundland, Canada, and director and founder of the Memorial Electroacoustic Research Lab, where he develops new digital instruments and leads interdisciplinary research. The first movement of Andrew Staniland's ballet, Caelestis, commissioned by the National Art Centre in 2017 in commemoration of Canada's sesquicentennial, features a 12-note series containing 11 distinct pitch classes derived from the following version of the Fibonacci sequence. The row series is generated using these Fibonacci-derived numbers mapped as semitones. Here is the prime series of the work. The pitch class C appears twice in the series, first as the opening pitch and again as the seventh, marking the beginning of each discrete hexachord. In both instances, Fibonacci-derived numbers are consistently mapped as semitone intervals from these initiating Cs, generating the intervallic content of each hexachord. The first hexachord applies the Fibonacci sequence bilaterally in alternating ascending and descending directions. Starting on C, it ascends one semitone, then down 2, up 3, down 5, and up 8. The second hexachord reverses this bilateral motion, again beginning on C. It descends by one semitone, ascends by 2, descends by 3, ascends by 5, and descends by 8. The series is generated in pitch space, but appears in either pitch or pitch class space in the music. The two hexachords are inversionally related, mirrored around the central duplicate pitch class C. This pitch duplication results in the emission of one pitch class, F sharp, a tritone from C. This structural detail becomes musically significant. Before presenting P0, Staniland first introduces P2, which concludes with F sharp, the only pitch class missing from P0. Turning to the orchestral score, note that I am only showing the strings. P2 unfolds in an unconventional manner. Spanning the first 126 measures, the series P2 is presented in long note values, reminiscent of the first movement of Bach's Wach it auf, BWV 140, where the chorale melody is also presented in long note durations. Aside from the opening pitch D, embedded within a dense cluster chord in measure 2, the remaining pitches of P2 are clearly articulated in succession. In measure 9, we arrive at E flat, followed by C in measure 31, F in measure 38, A in measure 52, B flat and D in measures 62 and 70 respectively, C sharp in measure 93. Let's now turn to the recording to hear how distinctly the arrivals of the next three pitches of the series are articulated. And finally, the row series concludes with F sharp, the pitch class that's missing from P0. With the conclusion of P2, we have the arrival of P0 presented in its conventional form as shown here. Let's listen to this arrival of P0 at measure 127. After P0's arrival, it is followed by 3 row statements, one of each type, including an inversion row, a retrograde row, and a retrograde-inversion row, all interwoven through dovetailing. The final pitch class of one series becomes the first of the next. And this cycle of rows that includes P0, I4, R8, and RI0 is repeated multiple times, forming a recurring closed loop as shown here. Let's conclude this presentation by listening to the arrival of this P0, I4, R8, and RI0 dovetailing cycle. In conclusion, by merging serial techniques with Fibonacci-derived structures, Staniland creates a distinctive hybrid approach to pitch organization, contributing to the evolving landscape of serial music. Thank you for listening.